Hey, thank you for joining us. We are Drew Code Sports Talk. And here is my co-host, Cody Johnson. I am the host, Andrew Wright. We're going to be talking about the NBA playoff update segment.
Yes, we are.
We predicted who we have going into the 8th seed. But more importantly, let's talk about who wins the East.
Okay.
As of right now, LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers have the number one spot in the East. A game and a half over Boston after they had lost today.
Right.
And they lost to Cleveland yesterday.
Right.
Who do you have going number one?
Probably Cleveland. Cleveland's got about 5 games left. They've got 2 of them against Atlanta, which honestly they're probably an overrated team at this point in the East. I think they're 5th right now, and honestly, they're not that good. I can see them getting bounced first round against the 4 seed that they play. So I don't think it's going to be any problem. I wouldn't be surprised though if Cleveland did rest the starters like out of the remaining 4 games. I wouldn't be surprised if they rested like 2 or 3 of these games, because that's probably what's going to happen. But I think they're locked for the number 1 seed. Boston right now is slipping because they just lost to not that great of a team tonight, considering that they're second best in the East and they got handed their backside to the number 1 seed outright. I think Cleveland honestly is just going to just keep the number 1 seed. They'll end up playing whoever gets the 8th seed, and just 4 games sweep and it's over.
Yeah, I think after the win, because we had done our notes before the game, before Cleveland and Boston. I said if Boston wins, they'll for sure be the number 1 seed. And if Cleveland won, they would be for sure the number 1 seed. Cleveland won, I still feel the same. I think Cleveland is the overall number 1 seed. I don't see them losing it. Tristan Thompson's out for 2 games, which isn't going to be a big deal because he's going to be back for the playoffs.
Right.
No biggie. I feel like this is the time that Kevin Love has to step up.
Yeah.
And that's because the first year he was with Cleveland, in 2014, Kevin Love was starting to get on fire. They were playing Boston in their playoff game.
Right.
Kevin Love got tangled up with, I can't think of his name right now. He was from Gonzaga. I'll think of it later and I'll probably spout it out.
The one from Boston?
Yeah, from Boston.
The guy,
long hair guy.
I don't want to say it's Olszewski, but
No, I don't even.
I know what you're talking about.
But no,
that's right.
Yeah, it was better than I knew. But yeah, he got tangled up. His arm gets dislocated. He's out for the playoffs. He was starting to get in a rhythm.
Yeah.
He was starting to step up when Kyrie Irving was kind of
dealing with his
lopsided. Yeah. So and ever since he came back last year, Kevin Love. He had some good games here and there. I want to see Kevin Love do something this playoff. Yeah. Because I remember him in Minnesota. The guy, it seemed like he was getting a double-double every game. I think he did average a double-double.
He did, yeah.
For those last 2 years in Minnesota. And he was such a dominant player on the boards. He gets into Cleveland and he's not doing it as much, and yes, you can make the claim of, well, LeBron James usually is going after the rebounds, they let him get it, and then he goes up the floor, and they just
because he pushes
Kevin
the
Love.
ball.
But they keep Kevin Love on the corners, and it bugs the daylights out of me, because he used to be a really good post player. I see him in Cleveland now. He's not that good anymore. He's a shooter, and yes, it fits in their game plan, the way they do things. But with Tristan Thompson out, and it might be a reoccurring injury, you never know that. Yeah. I want to see Kevin Love, like we talked about with the number 1 pick with Jason, like you were talking about Jason Tatum, you like how he's aggressive. Yeah. I want to see Kevin Love be aggressive. Yeah. If Kevin Love can be what he was in Minnesota with LeBron James and with Kyrie Irving, seriously, I'm going to admit it, I don't see them losing to Golden State. With a Durant, with a Curry, with a Thompson, with a Green, I don't see him losing. If Kevin Love can be aggressive the way he was in Minnesota. That is a big if. But that's what I want to see out of Kevin Love.
Yeah, you know, and it's hard to put a lot of this blame too on Kevin Love, because a lot of this is also the coaching and how they drop the plays. Because really right now with how Cleveland has constructed their basically the roster right now is LeBron James and Tristan Thompson are really the only two that you have that go inside really aggressively. Then you've got Kyrie Irving that does do that, but he shoots outside more so than he does driving, even though he's got ridiculously good handles. Then you got Kevin Love that used to be a post-up player, you're right. In Minnesota, he did average, I think he was one of the only players that would average 28 and 12 in a season. And he did that, I think, his second to last season in Minnesota before he was traded over to Cleveland. But because he's such a great shooter from three for being a big guy, you know, they like to put him out there. But the only problem is sometimes to get Caleb, you know, like really in the offense is you got to get him in the post. You've got to get him some rebounds. You got to get, if you give him feeling aggressive where he's winning those rebound battles, then he'll get aggressive with shooting the ball. But because you've got basically this, you know, move around offense that essentially sometimes turns ISO for LeBron because when he does get the rebounds, he pushes the ball for either a fast break or he's the one that sets up that offense. Yeah. Then you get them all out there, so you got Kyrie on your corner, you've got, you know, Kyle Korver over here, you've got Kalo over there, you got Tristan Thompson just below the three-point arc, so that way you've got an open lane right here. And you got a lot of rotation, which is great. But you don't really have aggressive inside post play like Tristan Thompson, who honestly this season is underachieving in his field goal and shooting. He was better last year in my opinion, and there's something missing. But he'll be out for 2 games. Maybe they'll figure something out. They've got a young Derek Williams right now that they have it for power forward on their bench, and they don't really utilize him. And I think that's a big mistake. I think he would actually help them a lot more than they think. Because he is a good shooter, and I think he would be really good at opening up the floor lanes, you know, collapsing the defense to where they can kick out to Kevin Love. But they just need more aggressive play. But Colin Cowherd said this on The Herd, is what's hard about Cleveland is they want to be aggressive. LeBron wants them aggressive, but he's got shooters. Shooters are not aggressive inside. They're
aggressive shooters.
Yeah, and they don't play defense very much. If anything, they play kind of like zone defense. They hang out, blow by, but I'm not going to get it because I don't play physical defense. Where LeBron is a physical guy, but he wants shooters. Yeah. So you're not going to get, you know, a shooter who's a physical. You're not going to get a two-way guard like Jimmy Butler unless you have Jimmy Butler on your team. You know, so that's what's real hard. But you know, honestly, I think that their path to the East is very doable. I think that really the only 2 teams that will challenge them is Washington and Boston, but I think Cleveland will be more physical than them. But I agree, if Kevin Love doesn't find a way to get synchronized in the offense like they did earlier this year, before his injury, then Golden State will beat them. However, I don't think that Golden State is losing again because they've got Kevin Durant. One thing against Golden State last year is they didn't have that physical inside play like what LeBron and the team had. And I think with Kevin Durant, yeah, he can shoot outside, but he can drive in there too, and he's not afraid to get aggressive that way. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where somewhat they have the upper hand because basically now they're almost 2 identical teams. The only difference is your number 1 guy for Cleveland is the LeBron James. And then you've got a couple more options over here with Golden State. But Kevin Durant will probably be the equivalent as far as aggressiveness to the lane and stuff like that. But you got to watch out because you got Steph Curry on the outside who will hit it from 30 if he has to. So.
Yeah. I mean, with the Tristan Thompson injury, like I said before, I'm not too worried about it. I don't think it's going to be, you know, the end-all be-all of Tristan Thompson. No, I actually like Thompson. I think he's a little underrated just because he's not used as much in the offense. And basically, his main spot for being the center is defensively. Yeah. And he's very good at it. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't see any center. I mean, I don't see any center on any of these teams actually dominate. No. Tristan Thompson. I mean, maybe you could make a case of Al Horford, but Al Horford would spread out Thompson a little bit, which actually would help out Boston. Yeah. But that's if you see Cleveland and Boston. And on that, really, I mean, I still don't see Cleveland losing to Boston, honestly.
Well, I think also too, it's not really necessarily that you need a center to compete with the center, but you want to make sure that you don't got those perimeter guys on the outside. Like for example, you've got Washington and you've got Morris, you've got Bradley Beal, you've got John Wall. You don't want those guys blowing by you for easy layups. You want, you know, like a Tristan Thompson or an Andrew Bogut, who could have been a rim stopper to kind of help stop the penetration or something like that.
And I think that was a big It was actually a bigger loss than what you and I actually had talked about.
Right.
I think you thought it was bigger than I did. I was like, well,
Yeah.
it might have been a blessing in disguise because you didn't know who he was going to be.
Right. I mean, I didn't think that it would make much of a difference, but we didn't know. But honestly, like, they needed a rim protector for a reason, and you can't just have Tristan Thompson in all the time. And plus, he gets in foul trouble all the time because he's the only big man protecting that basket.
Yeah.
And if you got someone like Boston's Isaiah Thomas, you got Washington's John Wall, heck, even if, let's say, the Pacers make it and you got Paul George going down the middle and you got Tristan Thompson fouling him, you don't want Tristan Thompson with 5 fouls with almost an entire quarter or maybe even the third quarter to go, because then if that happens, then who else do you have to replace him that's his height? You don't really have anybody.
You're going to have Kevin Love, and you're going to want him to be aggressive.
Yeah.
That's seriously. And a lot of the times they have Kevin Love at the 5 spot. And, he's still the shooter. And in that particular spot, if he's at the number 5 spot, I'd rather him be aggressive towards the hoop rather than away from the hoop. He's a great shooter. I'm not saying that he can't shoot. I understand why they use him the way they do.
Yeah.
But I think it would help because you have, like we talked about, you have a Kyrie Irving who can shoot a 3. And he can also drive it. That makes him versatile.
Yeah.
You have LeBron James, who's the same way. He can pound it inside anytime he wants, or if he'll shoot it, he can shoot it. I'm not going to talk about Iman Shumpert because he's not that good of a shooter.
Not anymore.
But you have J.R. Smith, who I actually like as a shooter. He's still trying to find it. I feel like he will during the playoffs, and that'll be a good game for him. You have Kyle Korver coming off the bench, who he's going to be healthy for the playoffs.
Yeah.
You have a ton of shooters. You don't need any more. Let Kevin Love post up a little bit. Honestly, when he was in Minnesota, he was bigger and fatter, and I liked that Kevin Love. I liked fluffy Kevin Love.
He was cheeseburger.
He was. But I mean, seriously, I really feel like if he's a little more aggressive, he doesn't have to be the post player constantly.
Right.
I'm not saying that.
Just another element in the post for the other team to think about.
Yeah, just add it.
And I wouldn't even on the defensive side for Cleveland's defense to improve, because again, like what we were just talking about, that they've got primarily shooters, and shooters aren't really aggressive defensive players like what LeBron is. I wouldn't even be mad if J.R. Smith maybe sacrificed some of his offensive input for some defense, because I think he can be a really good defensive player if he can focus on one end of the floor. If he focuses on offense, we've seen him shoot the lights out, which he does very well. Sometimes the defense is a little suspect on those offensive nights, but I think sometimes if you need it, like for example against Golden State that has shooters, you're going to want that flip switched. And what you're going to want is you're going to want that game to be a slow down game, low scoring, because then you'll drag it out and beat them, because they don't have anybody that compete with LeBron's endurance.
No.
And that's what you're going to want. I think that's the best way to beat a shooting team like Golden State, is to pound them, drag it out, make it long. Don't give them an opportunity to fast break or anything like that. And I think that's going to take place if you got Iman Shumpert, who doesn't shoot well, but is a good defender. And you've got J.R. Smith, good shooter, but you need him to focus on defensively. If he locks down Klay Thompson, then yeah, you've got a splash brother that's out. And then you've got Kevin Durant that LeBron can worry about. And Steph Curry got bullied by Kyrie Irving last finals. And granted, Steph Curry's a little bit more aggressive going to the lane. But honestly, I think Kyrie has a good enough defense and a physical defense to kind of throw, Curry off his game. And I think that's how they're going to win, but it's going to come with defense, not shooting the ball so much. Because I kind of feel like Cleveland is known, I remember them as defense, and then all of a sudden they tried copying Golden State's formula of shooting the ball and not playing defense. And I feel like that's, in a way, down the stretch after the All-Star break where they've kind of lost some games, is because they're not playing their physical inside game. They're playing more of the shoot the ball, don't play defense kind of a game. That's what it reminds me of, at least.
I'm going to ask you one more question. This is completely beside the point.
Okay.
Do you think Tristan Thompson is actually injured, or do you think he's butthurt that LeBron James yelled at him?
No, because LeBron, okay, if that was the case, I think LeBron wouldn't have swallowed his pride and say, hey, I'm sorry, whatever. Because honestly, who knows what happened. They're not saying anything like what normal pros do. Tristan Thompson didn't like getting yelled at for whatever, and maybe rightfully so. I mean, LeBron isn't perfect, isn't walking water, even though, close to it. But I don't think it's because LeBron yelled at him or he yelled at LeBron James, because Tyronn Lue didn't even come to LeBron's defense if anything, he was like, okay, and LeBron knew he was wrong. So I think it's more so injury. But honestly, I don't think it's bad when LeBron gets on you. It just looks bad, though, if LeBron gets on you and LeBron isn't perfect himself as far as, like, he made a mistake about 3 plays ago, but yet he's getting on you for that 1 play, but yet no one's holding him accountable. Everyone needs to be held accountable. You're LeBron James. You're as close to the logo as possible. But you do need someone that helps keep you in check, too. There needs to be checks and balances everywhere.
I don't know. I don't think he's injured. I don't think he's injured. I don't think he's even upset about the whole yelling thing. I think they're trying to rest guys, but they're trying to make it seem like it's not rest. With Tristan Thompson, he's not that as well known as like LeBron and Kyrie. So if Tristan Thompson is that, it's not that big of a deal. Well, honestly, he's out for only 2 games and he's coming back. Like, come on. Well,
on a lot of things too that kind of bug me about Tristan Thompson is he's a good rebounder, but for the max contract that he's playing, in my opinion, you should be scoring the ball more, and you should be more of a presence in the post, and not just defensively. I should see some offense too, because LeBron put his name on you about you being this great player, and from again the eyeball test just looks like he's a little underachieving this year from where his full potential is, and maybe it's because contract year last year he was balling out, he wanted to get paid, gets paid, I'm good. You know, and that to me, like, you need to work for that.
Well, and you could make the argument too, like Tristan Thompson with the Cleveland Cavaliers, the way they've trended this year of being more of a shooting team.
Yeah.
He doesn't get the ball as much. You could make that argument, obviously. I still honestly, I really thought they just kept him because of his defense more than his offensive production. He's a good rebounder, like you said. He's not a great hook shot shooter.
Yeah. His shooting needs to improve a lot.
Yeah. So Tristan Thompson to me, he's a better defender, and I think that's why they have him. Like you said, they need that presence in there, and they did, and that's why they went after Bogut to have that backup player. Now you don't have that; someone's got to step up, and that's why I feel like Kevin Love needs to step up for sure.
I agree.
All right, guys, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Drew Code Sports Talk. Also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, which is also Drew Code Sports Talk. Thank you guys for watching.